Straight ahead on CCX News, another beetle invasion.
It's really a cyclical thing. A couple years ago it was bad, last year was bad.
What you need to know to protect your yard. Plus, immigrants telling their life stories. What these seniors in Crystal learned. But first, new benchmarks for schools. What this new system means for local schools and how it's already impacting some of them. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A Brooklyn Park Elementary School is among those identified as in need of extra help, according to a new system designed to provide a better picture of school performance.
The Minnesota Department of Education will provide the extra help that also involves parents, teachers, and leaders of local schools. In years past, the state used test scores to spot schools in need of extra support. Now there are multiple benchmarks to measure success and flag those in need of improvement. State Education Commissioner Brenda Casellia says the old approach didn't move the bar fast enough for kids in need of extra help.
We're really excited to get started on that work and to start supporting our teachers in a new way that's not just focused on test scores, but on those real things that matter around student instruction and teacher practice, and also around the supportive conditions, in school climate environments that help them be successful.
Crestview Elementary in Brooklyn Park was among 47 schools that the state says needs comprehensive support. That designation means the school ranked toward the bottom across multiple measurements. Those measurements could include attendance, progress made by students learning English, and improvement on test scores. Comprehensive support is the most substantial level of support the state will provide. The Education Commissioner calls it an all-hands-on-deck system.
We actually go right at the school and work as critical friends to look at the data, and also coaches to be sure that the school district has the right kind of supports in place to support those schools, as well as the school is able to be resourced in the right way to actually implement their plans.
Education Minnesota, the state teachers union, applauded the new accountability system. The union group says the new North Star system will give local communities a new way to organize for their schools and hold their local leaders accountable if they don't deliver.
A Plymouth man who killed his brother in an argument over rent money was sentenced to 4 years in prison. The domestic dispute happened in January at a Plymouth apartment complex. According to the criminal complaint, the brothers had been drinking when the argument turned violent. That's when 26-year-old Garrett Idle stabbed his 27-year-old brother Jameson in the chest. During sentencing, Garrett Idle called the stabbing a horrible accident. The men's mother spoke in court saying her family is broken and that the brothers were best friends. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a boy who drowned in Brooklyn Center. The incident happened August 15th in a backyard pool in the 5400 block of Sailor Lane. Police say the boy was 11 years old. Authorities performed CPR and transported the boy to a local hospital where he died a couple days later. The boy was apparently by himself when the incident happened.
One part of summer most homeowners don't like is having to deal with pests. And this year, Japanese beetles are causing a headache for homeowners. Reporter Meredith Hackler shows us how you can stop them from wreaking havoc on your property.
We've had it before, but this year was definitely worse than any other year, I'd say. I mean, they really just did a number on the trees.
Japanese beetles have really been bugging people this year.
I had seen them buzzing around a little bit, just kind of thought they were flies for some reason, and then they just kept going to town on our trees.
And homeowners like the Austins aren't alone in their quest to get rid of these problem-causing insects.
The damage to them are leaves are being eaten. They're more like skeletalized. It's not like they're eaten from the outside in, but they're eaten from the inside and leaving the veins of the trees.
This bag is filled completely with Japanese beetles. Now, this bag's been here for about a week, but earlier in the summer, they would have had to be emptying it every single day. They're attracted to the bag by this pheromone.
I would start looking for them around the early part of July. So usually by mid-June next year is when you start seeing the beetles out there. And you can start spraying right away. That's the other way to control them once they're out of the ground.
Even though most of the Japanese beetles are gone right now, you should still prepare your property for next year.
Right now, you're going to start preventing them for next year. There are products you can put in the soil. On your shelf, you find some things from Bonite called Bug Getta. We have one from Fertiloom called Grub Free Zone. What that's going to do is kill the grubs that the beetles are laying right now.
There are certain species of plants and trees they prefer.
The trees and plants they prefer would be lindens, be number one. Birch trees, they like fruit trees, especially cherries, plums. They like shrubs such as your roses.
The best way to prevent them from causing damage is to be proactive. Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
And there are several chemicals you can use that can be soaked up by the roots of the trees that will become toxic to the beetles if they eat the leaves. Just make sure you read the labels to know if you're using the right pesticide. Apple connoisseurs out there, listen up. First Kiss apples could soon be coming to a grocery store near you.
But managers expect them to be gone before the weekend is out. Lunds and Byerlys will be rolling out First Kiss apples first thing Friday morning at their stores in Golden Valley, Plymouth, Eagan, and uptown Minneapolis. The First Kiss apple debuted at the Minnesota State Fair and is a cousin to the Honeycrisp. Given the limited supply, managers expect the apples to sell out quickly. They are $3.99 a pound. Shannon and I tried them at the State Fair. Absolutely delicious. If you think it's a little pricey, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Get there quickly.
And you paid like $3 for the apple,
I did,
right?
for $3 for the one, but it was amazing.
It was that good.
I tell you.
All
Yeah,
right,
it's
endorsed
worth
by
it.
Delane. Heard
University
it here.
of Minnesota have to represent. There you go. All right, still ahead on CCX News, immigrants telling their life stories. We'll hear what some had to say in Crystal.
Plus, Wayzata and Maple Grove battle in an early season volleyball thriller. That's later in sports.
But first, a change in the weather. Friday's storms roll in and some possibly severe. A special touring exhibit came to an area senior home.
Green Card Voices is a program meant to personalize immigrant stories. And for the last week, it's had an exhibit at Heather's Manor in Crystal.
I was born high mountain, Afghanistan.
It's a good-sized crowd Wednesday afternoon, here to listen to a panel of immigrants tell their stories. Taya Roseman Clark of Green Card Voices hopes to change attitudes, one voice at a time.
And our goal is to give immigrants and refugees opportunity to share their own stories in an authentic way.
One of those stories is Yazdan Bosch. Born in Afghanistan, Yazdan has called America home since 1976, and he wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Because the freedom. If you don't have a freedom, you got nothing.
Yazdan and others spoke to the Heather's Manor audience as the culmination of a week-long stop for the traveling Green Card Voices exhibit, facilitated by the Hennepin County Library.
We should not look what race, what color, what religion, what it is, you know, and we're all American.
Heather's Manor staff says the program is valuable.
We have 93 residents, all average age 92. And so getting their opinion and their thoughts is very important.
Exhibit organizers think events like this are especially needed right now.
Debate when it comes to immigration and, you know, specifically refugees or even immigrants is becoming quite heated sometimes. But we really believe dialogue and storytelling and building empathy is extremely crucial and important.
This exhibit will travel to senior homes throughout the county, and there will also be youth and education exhibits making stops at schools and colleges. Still ahead, a summer camp that's opening up a new wide world of sports to kids.
But first, Benilde-St. Margaret's football team is coming off 2 strong seasons. We'll preview the Red Knights next in sports with John Jacobson.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. We're fortunate to have some pretty good volleyball teams in the northwest suburbs. 2 of them played a thriller on Wednesday as Maple Grove hosted Wayzata. Set 1 is close. Lily Emlog puts it down for the Trojans. On that slide play, Alexis Preed finishes the back set from Zoe Brown. The Crimson win the set 27-25. Set 2, Sophia Jesuits uses her 6'3" size and gets the block for the Trojans. Preed delivers another big kill for MG, and the Crimson win the set, and they go up 2-0. But Coach Scott Jackson's team finds its game. Elizabeth Helmick hammers it for a kill in the 21-16 Wayzata lead. On set point, Emlog delivers for a 25-19 Trojans win. Set 4, Isabella Anderson drops in the ace serve for Wayzata. Helmick's hit down the line is off an MG defender, and Wayzata forces the 5th set. Haley Fugelstead with a nice serve from Maple Grove. Elizabeth O'Callahan puts it down on the overpass for the point. And then Preed gets up for another kill, and the Crimson fight to the end. But Wayzata completes its comeback. Jesuits coming through with the kill on match point. The Trojans win the set 15-13, and the match 3-2. The Benilde-St. Margaret's football team has had 2 of its best seasons back-to-back. Jay Wilcox has our training camp report on this year's Red Knights team.
There will be plenty of new faces in the lineup for Benilde after some talented players graduated, but that hasn't slowed the pace early this season.
We won most of the scrimmages, pretty successful. A lot of room to improve. We got some young guys, but they're on the come up. Really good leadership on the team and the coaching staff. I think we're going to be a really young and dangerous football team this year.
Young for sure, but I mean, very excited to play. I think everyone's getting very excited for the season start and things getting moving. Everyone's starting to step up a little bit, and we're starting to find our roles, which is always good. So
I think their attitude's really good. And our two-a-days normally, first week by Wednesday or Thursday, they're really dragging. And we didn't have that till the Friday practice of the second week. So our attitude was phenomenal, even with the weather the way it was. I thought we ground on them pretty hard, and they wanted more, so it was good.
The Red Knights do have some good returners to build around, led by 3-year starter John Whitmore at middle linebacker. Wide receiver defensive backs Matt GUGGEMOS and Mason James return, along with quarterback Nick Peterson. There's some promising linemen, too. Benilde won the state Class 4A title 2 years ago, and they were dominant in the regular season last fall, going 8-0 before losing their first playoff game to Orono. They want the high level to continue.
I mean, obviously, when you lose such a close game and having such high expectations, it adds a little fuel to the fire. But I'm hoping that we can bounce back this season, and have a really productive year, and hopefully get another state championship for the school.
Definitely want to make it back to the bank this year again, make it to state. We were cut short last year, sadly, but we think we have the potential to take it all the way again, just like 2 years ago.
A challenging schedule awaits, but the Red Knights are ready. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Benilde was 8-1 last fall. 4 starters return on each side of the ball. They open at Waconia tonight, Thursday. Minnesota Lake should be busy this Labor Day weekend. In this week's CCX Sports Fishing Tip, Terry Tuma talks about using Carolina rigs for catching bass.
Using Carolina rigs, very, very productive. Something that's maybe not used a whole lot in the upper Midwest anymore, but working very well for deep water structural location. Maybe it's a deep weed edge, maybe it's a break line, wherever depth is required. And there's nothing to it. You can purchase the Bullet Weights Carolina rig system, and then all you do is add anywhere from 18 to 20 inches, shall we say a leader, from the weight all the way to the hook that you want to use. And the hook size should be dependent on type of plastic. Lizards, extremely productive. Some of your larger worms, the 8, 9, 10-inch worms. And then all you do is cast it out and then just let it drop down to hit bottom. And then you can vary your retrieves, whatever these fish are going to really want. Generally speaking, once it hits bottom, is just use sort of a real slow approach, if you will. But here again, let the fish tell us what they want. Very productive, something that's not used a whole lot, using bait caster rods, bait caster reels, and I do prefer a longer rod, 7 foot plus. Be sure to give it a try this summer for bass.
Thanks, Terry. Live football tonight, Thursday, Maple Grove at Osseo, and then Friday, more live football at 5 o'clock, Cooper and Park Center. That's it for sports. Delane and Shannon, back to you.
Until you're excited. Thanks, John. Up next, what I learned at summer camp.
If you ask these kids, they learned a lot. That story when we come back.
As sad as it is to say, summer's drawing to a close and some kids have already gone back to school.
But there are still some districts that don't begin until next week. In this week's edition of What I Learned at Summer Camp, a group of kids in Crystal are spending their final week of summer trying something new.
Green Wayne, get down!
At a young age, kids are introduced to the concept of team sports.
Give them some space, please.
And it doesn't take long for them to pick their favorites.
Soccer, baseball, and hockey.
Franklin Thompson is a 6-year-old from Robbinsdale, and while he's already compiled a list of preferences,
nice!
This week he discovered that there are plenty of other games to play in the wide world of sports. Take, for instance, ultimate frisbee.
It's not that hard. It's kind of like hard to catch it because you might have like wet fingers sometimes.
All right, orange.
That's just one of the sports being taught at the Crystal Community Center this week during multi-sports camp.
Over the course of the week, we play close to 25 different sports. A lot of kids have played some of the sports before, but typically not all of the sports.
John Richardson is the owner of Revolutionary Sports.
See your team, Levi.
It's an instructional sports organization aimed at creating fun and positive learning environments for kids all across the Twin Cities.
For the kids, it's exposure to a lot of different sports. They usually come in with a couple favorites, and most of them have an open mind, and usually at the end of the week, the favorite sports that they played over the week is not the ones that they come to camp with.
Ultimate!
In addition to ultimate frisbee,
be positive to your teammates, play to the best of your ability.
The other half of the class was outside learning the English sport of rugby.
But the concept is get the ball and then be able to run. And the big thing is that they can't throw the ball forward. They have to be able to throw the ball sideways, keep using the word lateral, but sideways or backwards.
It's a game that's similar to American football in that you have to run to the end zone.
Oh, no, remember, Jamal, it's got to be even or backwards, though.
It just took this group some time to grasp the concept of no forward passes. By teaching kids new sports, it helps keeps things fun, and in the process, the children learn about more than just how to play a game.
A lot of life lessons can be learned. Sportsmanship, teamwork.
The multi-sports camp was a collaboration between New Hope, Golden Valley, Crystal, and Robbinsdale. The kids even got to visit a trampoline park. You ever been to a trampoline
Very
park?
cool. I haven't. But Elaine, you've done a lot of these all summer long. So looking back, what's been one of the most interesting or unusual summer camps that you've profiled?
I don't know about unusual, but interesting was when I got to go to Theodore-Wirth Park and all the kids are learning about how to do kayaking and swimming and all these sort of outdoor activities. That was a lot of fun. That was kind of right by where I live too, and I'm like, I wish I'd taken advantage of that when I was a kid.
Maybe you can go back and do it now. Summer camp for adults. We're on something.
Next year.
There we
Watch
go.
out, everyone.
We're going
next
to do
year.
it.
All
I
right.
like it.
That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock.